Breaking overnight, a woman is shot while sleeping in her home near Washington and Kedzie in East Garfield Park. Several bullets came through her window, hitting her in the leg and back. We're told she's going to be okay.
This is not the story that I'm doing the video about. I just wanted to show y'all the level of victimization, how ordinary people are victimized by this crime wave that these liberals demanded. They demanded this crime wave. They protested for. This woman was shot while she was sleeping in her home. Now, on to the story that this video is about. The woman that we're going to be discussing in this video. And make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you take the $5 challenge or just take the donation challenge, period. Donate any amount.
With that, we say good afternoon. I'm Brad Edwards.
And I'm Erica Sargent. That shooting, the second in less than 24 hours. Right now, police are questioning two people suspected of shooting and killing a retired teacher on the Dan Ryan Expressway late last night. The victim, Denise Huguley. She taught for more than 2 decades in the Evergreen Park School District.
CBS 2's Tara Molina is live in Evergreen Park, where people are remembering the beloved teacher. Tara.
Denise Huguley taught here for 24 years. She was a beloved member of this district and this community. She retired back in 2015, but a former student told me more about the lasting legacy she leaves. A wife, mother, grandmother, and cherished teacher.
I wouldn't have got to school without her, honestly. She didn't let me, giving up wasn't an option.
That's how 67-year-old Denise Huguley is being remembered today.
She was like everybody's mom.
Standing outside the school where he says she changed his life, Walter Malosone told us he wouldn't be who he is today without her.
I mean, growing up, I had anger issues. I had trouble focusing, and she changed that for me. She helped me get through all that.
So this son, man, growing up in Chicago, he attributes his ability to be a functional adult to this woman, Miss Huguley, who was killed by somebody just shooting on the Dan Ryan, which is the little highway or parkway they have up there in Chicago. And I've done videos. There's been so many shootings. There's been more shootings this year so far than it was all of last year. People just shoot people on that highway. It's a thing that happens in Chicago. They just shoot people on the highway. And a lot of times they miss their target and hit people, which I'm suspecting is what happened here. But this brother, like so many brothers, a teacher changed their life. A teacher that wouldn't let them give up, wouldn't let them fail, saw something in them. That woman probably saw something in this kid. Because a lot of those kids, there's nothing there. They're headed straight to jail. She must have said, this cat got a chance. He's got something in him where he could possibly have a chance. And salute to that woman for helping this brother. And, salute to this brother for stepping up and, because oftentimes brothers, we there when some fool get killed by the police in some town we never heard of. But we never there for the good people. And I salute this brother and I commend this brother for being there for, a good person. Standing up and speaking on behalf of a good person who died, an untimely death.
She was like everybody's mom.
Standing outside the school where he says she changed his life, Walter Malosone told us he wouldn't be who he is today without her.
I mean, growing up, I had anger issues. I had trouble focusing, and she changed that for me. She helped me get through all that.
An incredible teacher who made the difference for so many during her more than 2 decades here at Central Middle.
Even when I graduated, she still checked up on me.
The district superintendent remembering her in this email to the district. Quote, she was a dear friend to many colleagues who will remember her character as pure, honest, fair, and kind. She was an incredible woman whose memory will always be with us. Hughley was in a car on the Dan Ryan around 10 Tuesday night when a state trooper heard gunshots. Pulling over to make sure their car wasn't hit, police say 2 other cars pulled up to tell the trooper they'd been shot at. 4 people were in one of the cars, the car Denise Hughley was in. 2 people were in the other, 1 suffered a graze wound. According to Illinois State Police, with the help of a helicopter, they were able to chase a vehicle seen speeding away from the scene of the shooting to 61st and Ashland in West Englewood, where troopers took 2 suspects into custody. A gun was recovered.
And as I told you, this happens all the time on the Dan Ryan in Chicago, and this is very common up there. So a lot of times guys will see some, let's just be blunt, some sunmen will see some other sunmen. They'll be like a back and forth looking, How many of y'all notice this? When you're crossing the street or when you're walking in the street or when you're in your car, sunmen are always just staring in your car. Always looking at you. They're always, like, sometimes you just want to walk the streets and you don't want to make contact with nobody. Sunmen are always looking at you. They're looking in your car. They're in the car. They're looking at you when you're on the street. Always like staring you down. And that leads to a lot of things. So there's a lot of, there go them dudes, or sometimes they know the guys are from a different hood or whatever. But it's just a lot of aggressiveness. Like a look can lead to a lot of violence in the stand. They turned in the Dan Ryan into the stand Ryan. But this is very prevalent, and it seems like she was just innocent bystander. She the one that got killed. It's sad. I mean, when is this going to end? If you saw the story I did about the other woman, the 70-year-old woman who was working, she still was out there busting her hump, working, waiting for her boss to open up the store at 5 o'clock in the morning. She gets, literally chased down and executed by some guy she never met before. And when does this reach a boiling point? These elderly women being gunned down by thugs in public over and over again. Forget the kids, because no one cares about the kids, obviously. But these grandmothers, I'm sure that there's something brewing right now where people are like, yo, and this happens in every city, every day. A group of people is killing grandmothers from another group. That just, this little son kids that get killed, that's kind of like, okay, well, they're killing their own, that's what they do, yada, yada, yada. Now you're talking about son men killing grandmothers from another group seemingly every day. In like brutal fashion. How long does that go unchecked? If not by like some kind of reaction from the community, but some kind of like call for government or, intervention. How long at what point do you yo, they're killing our grandmothers? And I ain't trying to start trouble, dog. Double R, and I ain't come to start trouble, dog. But if them wasn't your mans, I'd have been hit them hard. Think about this, man. Will we put up with this? Will some people put up with this? Once, the whole year, in the entire country. No, it will be the biggest story in America. This happens every day the other way.
According to Illinois State Police, with the help of a helicopter, they were able to chase a vehicle seen speeding away from the scene of the shooting to 61st and Ashland in West Englewood, where troopers took 2 suspects into custody. A gun was recovered.
You're on the expressway. You shouldn't be getting shot.
His message for the life taken too soon, the woman who changed his.
That I love you and thank you for everything. Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for making me a better person.
Illinois State Police tell me they're still in the very early stages of this investigation. Coming up tonight at 6, we take a closer look at our dangerous expressways. There's been more than one shooting reported this year, the most of all reported on the Dan Ryan. That's something we've been tracking and we've looked into before. Again, that's coming up at 6 on Hour 18. Reporting live in Evergreen Park, I'm Tara Molina, CBS 2 News.
The 67-year-old Orland Park woman is the latest victim of a shooting on the Dan Ryan. This happened last night at about 10 o'clock in the southbound lanes near 63rd Street. Dane is live in Evergreen Park, where she had taught for 24 years. Dane?
Yeah, Denise Hugelet was a special education teacher here at Central Middle School in Evergreen Park for many years, and she was also a big White Sox fan, and she was in a car with some friends coming back from last night's White Sox game when that shooting happened.
This woman went to a game and on the way back from the game was killed by some thugs. Just shooting randomly on the highway. I did a story. I saw the story about that happened in Houston to the Astros fan. It's so many situations that are happening now. People coming home from games. You saw the situation in D.C. at the game. The woman, she was left the game. She's waiting for Uber. That was what sparked the stampede inside the stadium. They thought it was an active shooter inside the stadium, but really it was just some brothers shooting it out outside of the stadium, and a fan who was waiting for her Uber, who had left the game early, got hit. In all these situations in the last month, you think MLB is going to talk about it? Major League Baseball going to say something about it? You think any woke players going to say something about it? No. But let some announcer say something that flagrantly unracist, but can be construed if you look at it under a magnifying glass of having some kind of unconscious bias. That'll be the biggest story in the news for a week. But the fact that fans like this woman, Miss Hugelet, special ed teacher, you know special ed teachers are the salt of the earth. They're the greatest people alive. And I truly mean that. If you're a special ed teacher, you're a good person in my book. I don't need to know nothing else about you other than if you're not taking advantage of the kids in any way. If you're above board special ed teacher, you're a good person. You're patient, like Job. You're kind, you're gentle. You're nurturing. You're humble. It's a thankless job. The kid ain't going to say thank you to you. Half the time that kid's nonverbal. He doesn't even know what's going on, really. It's a thankless job. That's why I'm so glad that the young man who, I don't know if he was in special ed or whatnot, he may have been. You see a lot of brothers in special ed because of their, grades and whatnot. They're deemed to be mentally challenged because of their, inability to, learn at the same level. But they're really, just normal people. I'm glad that brother spoke on this woman and confirmed what I already knew about her.
And she was also a big White Sox fan, and she was in a car with some friends coming back from last night's White Sox game when that shooting happened. Now, Hugulay was 67 years old, a resident of Orland Park, and married with children and grandchildren, according to a family member I talked to earlier today. She and some friends had attended last night's Sox game at Guaranteed Rate Field and were heading southbound on the Dan Ryan when they were caught in the crossfire, some type of shooting incident right around 63rd Street. Hugulay pronounced dead at the hospital. Another woman in the vehicle was injured. Illinois State Police are investigating.
They did hear on the news about the shooting, but I had no idea it was the teacher at this school. It's just heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. I don't know what, prayer, you just got to pray, and you never know from day to day. My heart goes out to the family. Anytime you lose a loved one unexpected like that, it's just heartbroken.
A family member telling me this morning they didn't want to go on camera. They're very private. They wanted to mourn privately, but they said that she had retired within the past couple of years and, of course, was a White Sox fan attending that game last night.